It's a frustrating feeling, right? You spend an hour scrolling through endless listings, see those glossy photos of a soundbar promising cinema-like sound, and think it'll finally bring the movie-night experience you've been dreaming about. Then, when you finally hook it up, the dialogue sounds like it's coming from a distant hallway, the bass feels more like a faint rumble, and you start wondering whether you just paid a premium for a fancy box. That's exactly why I'm sitting down today, to walk you through the Sony BRAVIA 8.265-inch 4K OLED TV plus the BRAVIA Theatre Bar 9 soundbar bundle, and to help you decide if this combo actually lives up to the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the real problem many buyers face: the mismatch between what a speaker system promises on paper and how it performs in a typical living room. Most soundbars are marketed with terms like immersive surround and deep bass, but those claims often ignore two critical variables: the size of the room and the way the subwoofer is calibrated for the space. I've read a lot of user comments about soundbars that sound great in a compact apartment but completely lose their punch in a larger family room. That's why Sony's approach with the Theatre Bar 9 is worth dissecting. The Theatre Bar 9 is a 9-speaker system that includes a dedicated wireless subwoofer, a side-firing speaker for side-channel effects, and 2 upward-firing speakers that bounce sound off the ceiling to create a more atmospheric surround experience. In practice, this design shines when you're watching a dialogue-heavy drama in a medium-sized room, roughly 1,215 feet across. The dialogue clarity is surprisingly good, the on-screen voices stay anchored to the screen, and the AI-driven room optimization feature helps keep mids and highs from getting lost thanks to the reflective surfaces in most homes. If you've ever complained that the actors sound like they're speaking through a wall, you'll notice a real improvement here compared to a single-driver bar. Bass performance, however, is where the experience starts to diverge based on expectations. The subwoofer, while powerful enough to give you that gentle low-frequency rumble you expect from a home theater, doesn't deliver the earth-shaking thump you might get from a dedicated floor-standing system. In a room with hard flooring and minimal acoustic treatment, the bass can feel a bit tight. You'll hear the pulse but not the deep, lingering boom that some moviegoers love. For most TV shows, streaming movies, and even occasional gaming, the bass is more than adequate, but if you're a fan of large-scale action movies where explosions need to feel visceral, you might still feel a little underwhelmed. One of the most useful real-world tests I ran involved my family's weekly movie night. We set up the 65-inch OLED TV in a room with a large window that receives daylight in the evenings. The TV's AI processing handled the bright ambient light well, and the picture stayed punchy. Pairing it with the Theatre Bar 9, I noticed the room optimization calibrates not just the sound level but also the directionality of the upward-firing speakers. The effect was subtle but noticeable. The overhead ambience in a scene set in a cathedral felt more expansive, but it never turned into an artificial echo. In a practical sense, the soundbar didn't require endless tweaking. The one-tap calibration got us close to a balanced sound right out of the box. Streaming connectivity is another area where the bundle earns points. The soundbar includes an HDMI ARC port, which means you can send the high-resolution audio track from the TV straight to the bar without any extra cables. The remote, while not the most minimalist, is logical. The volume button controls the soundbar by default, but you can still adjust TV settings without having to switch inputs. This eliminates the classic "I have to press the TV remote for picture, then the soundbar remote for sound dance" that many users find annoying. In my testing, the remote response was instant, and there was no noticeable lag when I turned up the volume during a fast-paced action scene. Now, who should actually consider buying this bundle? If you already own a decent 4K TV and are simply looking to add a more immersive audio layer to your living room, the Theatre Bar 9 can be a solid upgrade, especially if your room falls within the medium-size range I mentioned. It's also a good fit for anyone who watches a lot of dialogue-driven content, think sitcoms, dramas, and news, because the dialogue clarity truly stands out. The inclusion of the 65-inch OLED TV makes the package even more attractive if you're in the market for a large screen anyway. The OLED's pure black levels and vivid colors pair nicely with the soundbar's calibrated soundstage. Conversely, this isn't the ideal choice for a few specific scenarios. First, if you have a very large, open-plan living area, say, a 20-foot width or more, the soundbar's reach begins to taper off, and you'll notice gaps in the surround field. In those cases, a multi-speaker surround system or a larger dedicated subwoofer would be more appropriate.